What's happening, guys? This is Mike at Mike's Total Dragon Channel, and tonight we're going to take a look at one of the more infamous portrayals of the Punisher. What we have right here is Punisher #1 from the Marvel Knights imprint. Now, this book here was launched immediately in the aftermath of the mainline Punisher book. It was launched to mixed reviews, I guess you would say. It was not very well received amongst a lot of the fans. I remember a lot of eye rolling and head shaking about this launch. Now, a lot of people, when they think Marvel Knights Punisher, they think of the Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon Punisher, the Garth Ennis Punisher with the, Spider-Man team up, the Maganucci and the Polar Bear, that Punisher. But before that Punisher came out, we had this Punisher right here. Now, this Punisher came out in, I believe it was 1999. And this came out immediately, like I said, after the mainline Punisher story, which ended with the Punisher Frank Castle Punisher, actually taking his own life. So that is how that Punisher series ended. And then we got this book that came out. And this artwork here, this cover is by Bernie Wrightson and Joe Jusko. You might know Bernie Wrightson from all his work on Swamp Thing. Joe Jusko, who you'll know as the artist on the Marvel Masterworks cards. So we got this Punisher book here. It came out. And, okay, so it came out. It looks like, judging by this ad right here for Bride of Chucky, this came out in 98. The ad for Chucky here says it's in theaters in October of 98, and so this book is out. So we get like a little recap right here of the Punisher. Vengeance-driven vigilante seeking retribution against all criminals for the death of his wife and his children. So we have that, and everyone knows that about Punisher. Then we've got this woman. She's like homeless or something. She's in the alley praying. So then you see this. You get to walk away this time. And so you're wondering who this is. You see a crack on the door. You see like someone's kicking it in. And then the real big reveal right here, if I can get this page to turn over, is it's the Punisher. But he looks like the Punisher, but he is not the Punisher that we know. Because, like I said, the Punisher died in that very last issue. And you see right here, the brand on his head burns bright. The eyes blaze in a dead man's face. The weapons aren't like anything they've ever seen before. He smells of earth and smoke. The clothes are tattered. But they all recognize the symbol on his chest, the Punisher. Hey, look, Pokemon. So then we kind of see the Punisher. He's opening up. He starts fighting these guys. He has like a memory, a flashback of him putting the gun to his temple. And so we see, like he says here, we get these little images and glimpses. They're not his guns. He doesn't even know where they come from. He just thinks of what he needs, reaches into his coat, and it's there. So he's just wasting all these guys like normal. But here, chases this guy up to the top of this building. It's burning. It's collapsing. The guy dives down. Punisher falls into the fire with him. So then we have like another little flashback of the Punisher. Years in a jungle. He didn't come home until the war was over. He remembers his family, their blood on his face. Figments of a life for 6 months. He's been working to piece them all together. So this takes place 6 months after the last issue of the Punisher, in which there's one thing he can't remember, no matter how hard he tries. How he died. So this takes place 6 months after he took his own life in that Punisher issue. So we've got some demon action here. There's an angel. You know, some sort of, you know, Antichrist, demonic baby right here. But Punisher breaks into this guy's house. He beats the hell out of this guy. You came to the alley, you asked for help. So just kind of like really like basic Punisher stuff or whatever. But the real hook comes here towards the end. The Punisher goes up to a rooftop and he finds an angel. There's an angel on top of this roof. And he says, "I'm sorry, Frank. They were never really here. I needed to see you. It's the only way I could get you. It's the only way I could think. It's the only way I could think of to get you to come. You son, who do you think you are? Not who, Frank. What? I'm an angel." So now the Punisher, the character who's fighting street level crime, who's fighting drug dealers, gun runners, muggers, he's mixed up with angels right now. And then the reveals get even crazier. So he goes to this bar. This guy's propped up here at the bar. He's drinking booze. He's hanging out with all these chicks. That looks like Vampirella. Frank says, "I was dead. Now I'm alive. How?" "Very well, Frank. I brought you back. You'd be in hell if it weren't for me. I gave you a chance of redemption. The only way I could think of to make up for what I did, what I didn't do." Then he tells Frank down here at the bottom, he says, "I was your family's guardian angel. I'm sorry I wasn't there for them." So he tells Frank that basically he was his family's guardian angel and he didn't do his job and they died. And so we have here on this very last page, Frank, he's got his magic gun right here and his little logo and his eyes glowing, and he tells his angel, "Pray." And that's the end of this first issue here. But this was not very well received. People, us as fans, we did not particularly want to see the Punisher as some sort of, you know, resurrected demon hunter, you know, with magic guns, magic logos, can't be killed. He's like a zombie or whatever, working for heaven, working with heaven. You know, it really was a decision that was not widely accepted by us as the fans. It was something that kind of fell flat. They launched this issue, and then this run here, it only ran for 4 issues. Now, whether they had planned for it to go longer than 4 issues or not, I don't know. But only 4 issues of this particular run came out. And then, less than 1 year later, the Garth Ennis, Steve Dillon run, Punisher Nights, began with the more conventional Punisher. Street level, fighting mobsters, fighting the mafia, you know, regular guns with regular bullets, knives, etc., etc., etc. And basically, what they did to transition from this version of the Punisher to the one that we saw by Garth Ennis is it's acknowledged, Frank Castle acknowledges it for 2 panels, maybe 3. In a monologue, he says, "There was rumors that I was dead. I got better." And that's basically all they do to acknowledge it. You know, I think he might say something about working for angels that didn't work for him or something to that effect. But essentially, it's all ignored and swept under the rug in about 2 or 3 panels. So this version of the Punisher here is a very interesting footnote in the history of the character. One that went over like a lead balloon and is pretty widely ignored. Pretty much no one talks about this anymore. And it was, you know, kind of a flop. And after they did this, they entered the Garth Ennis era of Punisher, and that's the one which remains the most popular to this day. So that is a look at the short-lived first appearance of the Punisher as a zombie magic gun-toting agent of heaven. So really weird footnote in the history of the Punisher. Kind of cool to take a look at it and see what they tried and what didn't work. So till next time, I will talk to you guys later. Have a good night, and bye-bye.